Hey, it's Bill Carl here, Senior Minister at Independent Presbyterian Church in Birmingham, Alabama. And I'm glad you joined me today in this little conversation. This is different because I'm used to being in a pulpit, high and lifted up with a robe on. But instead, this morning, I'm just sitting here with you in my office, having a little conversation over a cup of coffee. In fact, let me get my coffee here. And maybe you have yours, and let's just talk for a little bit. Well, you'll listen and I'll do the talking, which is okay because I can probably talk enough for both of us. And since brevity is close to godliness, I'm going to keep this short and sweet and to the point. This morning, I want to talk to you a little bit about transitions. And the reason is, we're going through a transition in our church, in our country, in our world. We're in a time of upheaval. But there's another reason I want to mention transitions today, because today the movers are at our condo packing Jane and me up for our move to Tennessee, where we will retire at the end of April. And in fact, they will come to my office a little bit later today, some point, and take a look. Here's what they'll be packing up: books and files and all these boxes and some plaques and paintings and some other things that are going to go to Tennessee. So this is a time of transition for us, and the truth is we'll be camping out in our condo for a few weeks, which is pretty much what happened to the people of God throughout most of biblical history. They were nomadic. They were traveling here and there. They were picking up and leaving. Abraham and Sarah being told to go to God knows where, to do God knows what. And think about Moses and the slaves, the Israelites, who were freed from Egyptian slavery, and then they had to head out to wander in the wilderness. Now, you may feel like that's what's going on right now, even in our world. I mean, we feel it here at IPC. The church is closed. People are feeling disoriented. They can't even come to church. We're having our services on live stream. It's a wild and disorienting time. And we really don't know how long it's going to go. A little bit like the Israelites wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. God help us if this virus crisis goes that long. We have no idea how long it's going to go. So that's the metaphor. That's the similarity between us and the Israelites. And yet, if we know anything about the people of God, we know that they survived no matter what the world threw at them. And they knew there was something better coming. There was a new chapter for them. The entry into the promised land someday, or the land of milk and honey. And there were three things that helped them. One was they were patient. Second, they were persistent. And the third thing is they trusted God, no matter what was going on. In fact, worry is a sign that you don't really trust God to be sovereign over all nature and history. And the biblical people and the people throughout church history who have been through challenging times knew how to trust God, which is what we need to do right now. We need to delegate our worries to God, which is what prayer really is. We need to say, God, we have done everything we can. We're being as safe and careful as we can. And now we let these worries go to you. That should be your prayer right now. It should be the prayer for our church and for our city, for our state, our country, our whole world. Yesterday, I was doing birthday calls, and there was a woman who turned 86, and we were having a great visit, and she seemed so calm and at peace. And I said, with everything that's going on, why are you so at peace? And she said, because when I was 8 years old, we had the polio crisis. And it was awful, and we were scared, and we had to stay home for a good while. But then we got through it. And you know what? Dr. Carl, tell people we're going to get through this. So I'm sharing that news from one of our members who celebrated her 86th birthday yesterday. And I said thank you to her. And I said, I am glad you were born. And she said, I am too. So, as we move into a new period, as we transition now into a new time, just remember to be patient, to be persistent, and to trust God. And for a closing prayer, I'm just going to use the prayer that I use at the end of staff meetings and Bible studies, and even when I'm out in public, in a restaurant with a group of people, I will say this prayer, and you can say it with me. I simply say, praise the Lord, and you say, the Lord's name be praised. And then I'll add from Hill Street Blues, be careful out there. So let's do it. Praise the Lord. The Lord's name be praised, and be careful out there. Have a great day.